Everybody for coming. This is a wonderful turnout. We're so pleased with it. You're joining our Lunch and Learn. This is our February session, and my name is Nancy Pack, and I've been a Master Gardener since 2024. So it's been 2 years, but I can tell you it's a wonderful experience. So if you're thinking or on the fence about whether to join the organization, it would be a positive thing in your life. It's a great experience. And even if you don't join, you have the ability to do these type of community free session. So um, the Lunch and Learn series is a program that's sponsored by the Master Gardeners of Roane County. It really allows you to grow your knowledge and understand more about horticulture and what you want to do with your gardening projects and so forth. It meets every second Saturday of the month, and it is a 1 hour class, and we sometimes go over because they're really good, and if there's a lot of questions and engagement. But we try to keep it to 1 hour for your time. It's packed full of practical tips, lively discussions, research-based horticulture advice. Each session features master gardeners or guest experts, such as who we have today, and they share their time. Seasonal topics the topics are inspired by the latest research and community interests. So we want you to come to these, and I know a couple of people they came last time, so you're a repeater, so that's a great thing. But just come, learn, connect, and cultivate success in your garden, because that's what we're all about. All right, I want to make sure that everyone get a door prize. I mean, not a door prize, but a ticket that will allow you to get a door prize. So if you didn't get we don't have enough door prizes. Yeah, if you did not get a ticket, check with at the front desk, and they'll give you a ticket. And so with that, I'm going to introduce the speaker. Who we have with us today is Trish Talent, and she is the owner of Raised in Clay. So she is from Knoxville, Tennessee, and she is going to share with us today her journey in developing a small business based on her passion in gardening and her degree in ceramics. And so I think she's going to share that with us today and allow us to come into her journey. So we're very excited about that, and we're happy to have her with us. So Trish, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, how are you guys? Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for coming today. So I'm by no means really an expert, but I'm happy to share with you my story and how I kind of came to growing a lot of cut flowers and how my love for flowers has kind of evolved. So I'll just introduce myself a little bit. This is my husband, and these are my two children. And I cannot believe it, but they just turned 20 and 22. And so, yeah, I have adult children. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm really getting old here. So a little bit of background is that I have my master's actually in art education, and I was an art teacher for 9 years until my second child, Grant, was born, and then my whole teacher paycheck would have gone to childcare if I was to continue working. And at that time, my husband, his job he was doing really great at his job, so we were fortunate enough I could stay home and raise our kids. And some days I think it would have been easier for me to go to work every day. So having two children 2 years apart, so having a newborn and a 2-year-old was it was a lot of work. But I enjoyed every single minute of being able to stay home with my children, and I did it all. Like I was homeroom mom. My kids played sports. My son played. My daughter did travel swim team. My son played competitive baseball. So my days were really, really full with managing a household, dinners, meals, school, homework, all the things, right? So when my son was a senior, my daughter's older, and my son was a senior in high school, and we came home from, basically we lived in Atlanta and Hoover, Alabama, playing baseball, these tournaments, and he loved it, and I would never trade a second of it. Even the stinky car rides home, and some of the, if you have a son that plays baseball, let me just tell you, just know before you get into it, almost every single car ride home will not be a happy car ride, because you go to these tournaments and you'll be like, what, 120 teams? Well, only one team's going to get in the car and be happy on the way home. So there was lots of great life lessons, and lots of fun stories with both my kids, and beach trips and all, and so it was wonderful. But after that last summer of not being home, traveling with him most of the summer, I said to my husband, I was like, my husband's like, okay, you're gonna go back to teaching, what are you gonna do? Like, what's your plan? He's like, and I was like, well, honestly, he said, I told him, I said, I just would really like to have a garden again, because when our children were little, we grew vegetables, we did all the things, that you love to do with your kids, and like you do, like I used to garden with my mom, my grandmother, so, but we hadn't had much time. But we had moved to this newer house. Well, it's an older house, but it was new to us. And so I was like, we really have a lot of space now. I said, I would really like to have a garden. He goes, oh, do you want to grow vegetables again? So we do. We did cucumbers and tomatoes and all the things the kids loved. And so I was like, I really want to grow cut flowers. And I loved when I was a little girl, picking like the wild Shasta daisies that grew at the stop sign down by our house. And if no one was coming, my mom used to let me jump out and pick a few and get back in the car. And so I just love that. I was like, I really want to grow cut flowers, just have beautiful flowers, for my mom's older, and just to share and bring into the house. And so he's like, okay. He said, we'll make you some cut flower rows, but he said, I want to make a big fire pit, because we like to do bonfire. I was like, fine, whatever. So he rented this skid steer, got all his rocks, did all his things for the fire pit area. So him and all his buddies like to come over and smoke cigars and drink bourbon in the fall, sit around the fire pit. And so I was like, okay. I said, but can we, this X section over here? And so I marked it all off, and he goes, that many? And I was like, yeah. So I did some research, and I was like, okay, I want 4-foot rows. And so he dug all the grass up. And so he said, is 3 rows enough? And I'm like, well, maybe 4. He goes, okay, so we've got the skid steer. Why not? And he's like, is that enough? And he goes, oh, heck, we're here. So he kept going. We ended up starting with 6. Now we have 9 on that side. And so we got compost delivered. All winter I did all this research. I was all over the YouTube and all the things and all the books. And, I was starting seeds inside. My whole dining room had become like shelves with grow lights and all the things. Well, it was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. And then we got through his senior year. I was concession stand mom at the baseball field. We made it through senior year, and I was planting all these things. Well, summer came, and we got everything planted, and I was like, okay, I have more seedlings. I said, I need 3 more rows. So we made 3 more rows, and I just loved it. And then let's see if this guy works. So here's some of the established rows. So we have a little chicken coop. So we have this one. We live about 3 acres, but it's our home. Like, we have our house, and then the back part's a little bit wooded. So we have some areas that really aren't plantable because they don't have enough sun. We've taken down a few trees. We even have someone coming next week to take down 3 more trees to get a little bit more sun and a few more spaces that I would like to, take over with plants. So we also invested in and did the drip irrigation. And let me just tell you right now, my husband is an absolute saint. Like, just about anything that I could ever think of, draw, like come up with, he can do it. And I think it goes back to when we were first married. We bought this old house, and it needed a lot of work, and he just learned how to do it. Like, he built a whole deck on the back of our house. He had to redo plumbing. He learned how to, he just figures it out. I don't know how. I can dream it up. He figures it out. So, so anyway, so you don't have to have this amount of space. Just take a small space and try a few cut flowers that you love. Try some easy ones, but don't be intimidated. If it's something that you want to do, just try it. You don't have to have it perfectly figured out before you start. Just start. So Here we go. So here's some early sunflowers. Just let me tell you, right now the deer absolutely love sunflowers. So it's like crack, I swear. But they are really fun, and they are really, really beautiful. And they're just happy, cheerful flowers. Well, we were getting more and more blooms, and I was like, I can't believe that we did this. Like, we grew this. Like, this is happening. So we had so many blooms. I was Oh,
Are you, the hoops,
Mhm.
you covering those for spring and fall
Okay,
extensions?
those-
Cover for the sun?
so I guess this was late June. I guess these two might have been later in the season, because later in this season I asked my husband, I was like, I really want to have these hoops I want to overwinter some flowers. And so he's like, well, when do you want them? And I was like, well, I don't need them to probably like October. Well, I asked in July, and I think he had them up by the end of August or whatever. Yeah. No. So I know I'm telling you, he's amazing. So my husband does not play golf. My husband, he he doesn't do all the like whatevers, but he has always had kind of a stressful job, and especially when our children were young, I was like, you need to unwind. Like, don't. I know you're home, but you're not ready to be home quite yet. You need to switch gears. So he would go out and mow the grass or like whatever. Well, when we moved to this I must have been 9 years ago, we moved to this property. He would come home and he built a whole firewood shed. He's splits all the firewood for the house. He always has a project. He loves it. Like it's like his thing. He needs a little exercise. He needs outside time, and so he just loves a project. I don't know where. I don't know. God just sent me this absolute gift with him. So yes, and I do. I cover them. Like right now, I have them covered with ranunculus, snapdragons, anemones, bells of Ireland, and poppies. I did try the frost cloth. A lot of people just think frost cloth is plenty in our area, and it really is. But the area where this garden is, the wind kind of comes across the property this way, and it just tore the frost cloth to shreds. Like it would not hold. So I bought a rolls of. I need to be one of those people that have the Amazon like links of all the things you buy from Amazon, because I buy almost everything from Amazon. But I buy this greenhouse plastic. It's a 6 millimeter thick greenhouse plastic. I buy it on. I hunt because it's standard. I think is 6 and 12 foot wide. I need a 10 foot wide, and it fits perfectly across all the way across the hoop. And then I bought it on a 100 foot roll. So we just made it to fit. I tried something new this year because many people can do these clips and clamps and all these things to keep it. I didn't do that this year. We put an eye hook, like a little screw that has a little circle eye around it, like a little thing like this. And then I bought bungee cord, the marine grade bungee cord, so it gets wet or whatever. I bought it on a big roll, like a big spool, and then I made a big loop, like a long loop with it, and tied it in a knot. I put the knot under the eye on this side, and then the bungee splits and goes over there, and it hooks again on the other side. The past 2 years, I've been out there. It would take me so long to unclamp and bring the plastics ups and downs and all the things. Oh my gosh, just having the bungee on either side of each hoop, you can just go down the side and just lift up the sides, and because you don't want everything covered all the time, it's been the biggest time saver, and I don't think that the frost cloth would hold with the bungees. I think that it would rip. So yeah, okay. Yes.
How did you make the beds? Like, what kind of material is in there?
Okay, so remember my husband rented that skid steer to move his rocks and things and gravel for the fire pit. So it's a 4 foot wide little bulldozer. What do you call it? Little scoop, yeah. So he just went down and he got all the grass out, cut all the grass out, and we dumped it out in the woods. And so then I came back through here, and we have such red hard red clay soil, which I'm sure you guys probably have as well. I have spent a fortune, I think, on compost. Lowe's makes a product by Evergreen, and they have a really good topsoil, and they have a compost manure mix. I love it, and it's like $3 and something a bag, and I can manage it. So that's what I've been using to keep adding. But at first, I had a dump truck full of a Black Magic mix, and the Black Magic mix is compost, topsoil, and has a little bit of sand in it. So the sand is supposed to help break down the soil, the clay. But note, if you add too much sand to the red clay soil, it will turn it to like a brick, like concrete. So be careful, don't add too much sand. But it does keep the drainage, it's good. But yeah, so these are 2x12s. And then on the inside, he put on the inside of these like L brackets. And so that's how they stay together.
I
Okay.
have another question.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, go on.
I saw the strings there. What is your methodology for the strings?
Okay, so these are dahlias in this section. And so this is Hortonova netting. So it is a 6-inch by 6-inch grid. I don't love it because it's plastic, but some people use like a jute one, and the weather, it just stretches. It does not hold up. But it's the flowers kind of grow up through it, so it stakes your flowers, and so the wind and helps support them. So you can buy it on a roll 4 foot wide. Yeah. Okay. So it got to be July, and we had so many flowers. So I drew up a little plan. I was like, "Can you make me a flower stand?" And so here we go. Of course, he did. So he's amazing. We had a little bit of aluminum material that he used for the top of the wood shed, fire for all the firewood. So he used that, and these big old, you get bigger caster wheels than you think. I think they're from Northern. So yeah, and I just asked him, would you make, yeah, okay. So within a week we had the only thing is he did use a sprayer. It was really my job to paint it. I actually did almost all the painting, except at the end he goes, "Oh, I have the sprayer. You want me to spray a couple?" I'm like, really? But I'm the one that takes the pictures, so he's in all the pictures, right? Okay, so flower stand. Yeah, I mean it's okay. So we have 2 entrances to our house, and we have a driveway that kind of just it comes up next to the house, goes around and our house, and comes out down at the bottom. So down at the bottom of the driveway, the second, I call it the second entrance to our house, is where we put the flower stand. So the neighbors can kind of pull in the driveway and come. It's self-service flower stand. There is a little cash box. I don't even check it because no one uses it. I use a little Venmo QR code, and so we haven't had any issues. My neighbors like love it. I didn't even know my neighbors really because I don't live in a neighborhood. It's like a long street, and then there's like neighborhood over here and there's over there. But we have a lot of people that walk, and I've met almost just like all my neighbors on my street now. And I look down there, and some days the girls that walk are just down there chatting away. So it's like kind of like a little spot in there. And sometimes I notice that people leave stuff in the flower stand for somebody else to come by to pick up. It's like, oh, I'll just put it down there, whatever. But they're so nice. It's like been so fun, and like the neighbors are like, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun. We just love it." I mean, I get notes all the time, like, "This just made my day." Like, I don't know. It's just really fun. We have everybody hanging out. Yeah, I mean, people leave me things too. Like this one lady, she's left me pickled okra. She goes, "Oh, I grew pickled okra." She said, "I thought I'd share with you." I mean, it's just so sweet. Like, just so nice. So yeah, so this is just really when I really fell in love with flowers. I did take a workshop in May, that first year that we were establishing the beds, at Flourish Flower Farm. It's in North Carolina. The girl Nikki that runs it, she is so sweet. She's amazing. Her farm is it's in Western North Carolina. It's kind of mountains a little bit. It's about 20 minutes north of Asheville, but she has a closed farm. You cannot visit. She doesn't allow people to come to her farm except if you go to one of her workshops. And the first workshop I went to, I think ranunculus was like the focal flower of the workshop. But Nikki has worked with, Tulipina. It's a famous floral designer. She does a lot of like really, she's done some events at the White House, at the Metropolitan Museum. Like she does a lot of really high end work. And Nikki has done a couple of internships with her a few times. So Nikki's amazing, so nice. But you get kind of a tour of the farm when you're there, and you make a flower arrangement with her. So it really teaches you some simple basic mechanics, and it was lovely. And then I started having all these flowers, and I think maybe my art background, I just like all the colors and all the textures and all the, I just fell in love. I feel like this is my medium. Yeah, so it's lovely. um, Okay, so we do have chickens, and so we kind of have so many eggs. So we added some fresh eggs, and the first couple of years we've added pickles because I'm not going to grow cucumbers this year. I still might do the pickles because I have a friend that's growing a lot of cucumbers. But yeah, so my uncle, his family, they live. My mom and my grandparents, they lived in Long Island, New York, and my grandfather worked in Trade Tower number 2 for 40 years. And then my uncle, my mom's brother, he ended up living, well, my grandparents had a camp, like they call them camps, not like a cabin, they call them camps, in upstate New York, about 45 minutes north of Lake George. And my uncle's family ended up living there, and my uncle had a farm stand in their house because they kind of lived on kind of like a main road. Like when all the vacationer and the weekend people would come in, you would go right past his house, and he was great. He's passed away, but he would tap like all of the maple trees and make maple syrup. He would make homemade these amazing garlic dill pickles, and he would grow like horseradish and rhubarb and all these things. And so anyway, I was like, oh, we've got to make Uncle Chuck's garlic dill pickles. So it's kind of become a thing. I think my neighbors wait for them. So that's been kind of fun. There we go. So, okay, so we made it through the first summer. It was really fun, learned a lot, met my neighbors. And then to keep me from coming home and crying, I think, after we dropped my son off at college, he played college baseball his first year, and he loved it. And I was like, let's do something. Like, I just don't want to come home to a really quiet, empty house, because my daughter had moved out 2 years before, but I was just like, this is going to be really hard for me. So I was like, he goes, well, fine, let's just go on a trip. Let's just take him and give us something to look forward to. Let's go somewhere. And I was like, okay. I said, I really want to go to Oregon. He goes, what? What is in Oregon? Like, he's just thinking like the Oregon Ducks and the football and all the things. And I was like, oh no. I said, all the beautiful flower farms are in Washington State and in Oregon, and their climate, most of their climate is 7 and 8B, which you don't think that because they're so far north to the Canadian border. It is beautiful. So I was like, well, I was like, okay, I know that this is not going to work, me just going and wanting to go to all these flower farms the whole time. We got to do something that he's going to really enjoy too, that we can do together. So I remember I was in high school. I used to get the Dannon yogurts like in my lunch, and inside they'd have like a picture like under the foil, and there was always this picture of this beach and this rock. Well, okay, so that's Canyon Beach, and it is the most photographed place on the West Coast. And so I was like, let's go there. So we stayed right in Canyon Beach, and it was gorgeous. And my husband was like, oh my gosh, he goes, this is my favorite trip we've ever taken. And we've been very blessed that we've got to travel. We've been to Hawaii, we've been to Scotland, Ireland. We've been some pretty great places. But he's like, I really think this is my most favorite trip. Well, But I was so excited about going was when the tide goes out, there's all these crustaceans, and you can just like wade out in the water and around like all of these rocks and stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's like magnificent. All these like sea stars and all this. It is very cool. So if you ever get a chance to go, oh, and up in the very top of that big rock is a whole puffin colony, and so there's like down below there's some binocular things you whatever, and you can look up and kind of see all the puffins and all the things. In our hotel room they left little binoculars too, so you could sit on the balcony and look at all the puffins. And the coastline, it is just beautiful. It is so gorgeous. And then I'm allergic to seafood, but my husband thought this was lovely. So after we left Canyon Beach, I wanted to go down to Tillamook, so we took the coast down, and where this one river comes meets the ocean, there's this place, and it has a restaurant. Like right there is where they steam all of the crab and oysters and things that they fresh catch right there. You can go out and catch your own crabs and stuff and bring them in, and you just you come and have a lovely lunch looking over the water. So that was really cool. And so, oh, and then I really wanted to go. Anybody have Tillamook ice cream? Tillamook tea. Oh my gosh, it's the best. So we went to the whole big Tillamook factory, and of course we had ice cream. Yeah, so that was super amazing trip for us. And so we went down to Tillamook, and then we flew in and out of Portland. So it's like, okay, we'll go head back to Portland to catch our plane. But I was like, oh, I want to go a day early. I really want to go to Swan Island dahlias. And they have 47 acres of blooming dahlias. And the time of year we went, everything was in full bloom. And the farm is only open, I think it's about 6 weeks of the year. And they have like this big dahlia days, or like weekends where they have like food trucks and live music and all the things or whatever. And it was just gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, if you ever go to the Tillamook ice cream place out there, these big plastic buckets, they're big ice cream buckets, and they literally have stacks and stacks of them. And I'm like, oh, those would be so good for flower buckets for harvesting. I got one home in my in my suitcase, but they just give them away. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. We got there right in the morning. We were like one of the first cars when the gates opened. I was so excited. So this was in late August. Yeah, it was really beautiful. So dahlias are really, really my favorite. So we came home, and I was like, well, what about in this little space right here? If we could build a side lawn garden there. So here we go again. Yeah, here's some fall. The dahlias are just so beautiful in the fall, and mixed with celosia, zinnias, and who just doesn't love some cosmos? So here we go. We came back, and then here's there's the hoops with the frost cloth, and then look the difference between the frost cloth and then this is the plastic. So I've been learning the most, really trying to learn as much as I can. So I was like, okay, I really want to try taking cuttings of dahlias, and dahlias really are my absolutely favorite. My grandfather used to grow them. In the Long Island house, they even had this little tiny, like postage stamp little yard in the back that he always had a whole bed of dahlias. And I remember him down in his, like in the basement, he had all these little paper bags. I was like, what are these? Oh, they're dahlia, they're tubers. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know what they were. I just thought, oh, well, they're potatoes or roots or something. But he was storing his dahlias downstairs, so he'd dig them up and store them downstairs for the next seasons because they would freeze. So I went to a friend's garden, and I actually took cuttings from his varieties. He's a local hybrid, well, he's Chattanooga hybridizer. So my friend and I, we went there, and so I started doing some cuttings, some seeds all winter, really just learning a lot. I did cover these beds for the winter with leaves. One thing I can tell you that I did learn about is you need to cover your soil over the winter, because you don't want to lose any of the nutrients of having your ground and your soil just open to the elements all winter. So a lot of people are, I just do leaves. Well, some people, I think the leaves would be fine if you like mowed the grass with the leaves that had fallen and had a bag that it crushed and mulched the leaves up, and then you added them, that would be fine. But the leaves that I just gathered in this big trash can and I would dump them and fill the row, they didn't have enough time to really compost over the winter. And the leaves, as they compost, anything that's not already composted and broken down, it's going to suck all the nitrogen out of your soil composting itself. So I didn't realize this. So after all this, then I blew off all the leaves out of the garden, you know. So anyway, so this year, actually what I did in those dahlia beds, that are not, they don't have anything overwintering in them right now, I used alfalfa hay. Alfalfa hay you can buy at the AgriFeed, I think has it, like Co-op has it. It releases nitrogen as it decomposes, and so it keeps everything covered, and it slow releases nitrogen into the soil for over the winter. And when I replant my dahlias, I will plant my dahlias and then I will put a small layer of alfalfa hay again all around, because throughout the season it'll keep the roots cooler, it'll keep the moisture in, and it's going to slowly be adding more nitrogen back to your soil. Yes.
Do you have to remove the dahlia bulbs?
Tubers.
Tubers?
No, you don't have to, but it's a risk. So raised beds are above ground level, so the wind and everything's going to hit the side of these boards, and it's going to make that dirt freeze more than like under the ground here. And dahlia tubers, if they freeze, they just turn to mush and they rot.
And do you have any suggestions on how to store dahlia tubers?
Yes, that could be a whole day. Yes, I can tell you quickly. So as far as now, I will say there are some people that have really good luck of overwintering tubers and leaving them in the ground. They put like a good thick, like 6-8 inches of mulch on top. I don't. I haven't heard people that have raised beds have good luck overwintering because they're raised. But I've had some people. Then what you want to do is you could either put mulch, thick thing of leaves, then cover it with a black tarp, because what's also going to rot your tubers is if we usually kind of have wet winters. If the water just gets down there and sits on them, they'll just rot. So if you keep that tarp, if you keep them real well insulated, put a tarp and keep the water off of them, you'll have a lot better luck. But I will say, I would only leave dahlia tubers in the ground maybe about 2 years, not more than 2 years. They will create so many tubers that it will just get like you've got to divide them. They'll start suffocating each other. Yes.
What seeds do you usually start inside versus direct sowing?
Okay, so I would tell you need to buy a book. That's a little book. It's by Lisa Mason Ziegler. It's called Cool Flowers. The first year I tried to start all my seeds for spring. There's not enough room on my racks to start that many seeds. First of all, there's a lot of seeds that you can start in August, September, October, start in trays, plant them out, overwinter them. Some of them you can direct seed. I direct seed larkspur, nigella, bupleurum, Chinese forget-me-nots are some that I do direct seed. But I would say go get the Lisa Mason Ziegler Cool Flowers book. Because she gardens in zone 6A. She's just a tad colder than us in Virginia, but her zone is very comparable to us. So anything that she says she's doing will definitely work for us. It even has flower by flower of which ones are the cool hardy annuals and then which ones are your warm ones. So right now I'm not starting it yet. I started Lisianthus in December. Slow growing. They're so beautiful. A lot of people buy plugs. I don't. I buy my seeds and I have good luck with germination, and I just babysit them. And so, I mean, they're 3 months in their trays until they really start going, but then I can put them out in April because they like a little bit of a cool. But yes, Cool Flowers, yes, you get that book. Yeah. Okay, so moving here. So I'm gonna take forever. Okay, so this time last year, I was like, "Oh, honey, I really like, the flower stand's great, but I like to be able to I'd maybe go to farmers market or maybe do pop-ups and people have asked, would you come sell flowers here, here, and there?" Well, I just kind of fell in love with these vintage, old like bumper one horse trailers, and so we scoured and scoured and scoured Facebook Marketplace and the Craigslist, and I finally found one. It was down like near Cleveland, Tennessee, and it looked really, really bad when we got it. And so my husband, he tried to sand off as much as the rust with a steel sander thing. And then he gutted the whole inside out of it. We took the guts out. And then he added new brace floors and all the floors and stuff. And then I took it to a welder, and I wanted one side to be solid and one side to be a door. So he created a door that will go up and a shelf that kind of comes down. So yeah. So now on Fridays mornings, you can find me at Camp Honey Coffee selling flowers, and it's really fun. Yeah. Also, last spring, I really want a greenhouse. I do not have a greenhouse, not yet, but
Where is Camp Honey?
so Camp Honey is in Knoxville, where Lakeshore Park is. It's right on Lionsman. It's like right across from the entrance. It's new. It opened just this past June, maybe, and so last July I started selling flowers there on Fridays, and it's really fun. It's really sweet. They have great coffee, by the way. So okay, Amazon on Prime Days. It's called Little Bird, little greenhouse, and I was able to, all those dahlia cuttings I had going in my garage, I planted them out 1st of April as plants that were this big. And by the end of May, I had some blooms. So I was super excited to make sure that the greenhouse, all it is like this huge cover. And it's nice because the sides do roll up to a mesh and the backs and the fronts all roll up. So it kind of gives ventilation. You don't want it trapped in there, they really need air. So also a lot of people had trouble. The reviews are like, oh, the wind gets under it and it takes it away. Well, I love the Amazon. I love the reviews. This one fellow was like, oh no, I made a raised bed and I attached it to the raised bed. I'm like, oh yeah. So here we go. So these raised beds are nice because they're 24 inches tall. Actually, yesterday I started planting stock in them. So I'm going to try stock in them this year instead of the dahlias. So yeah, I love it. It's fun. Oh, also, it's nice. I tried to do stock so that I would have it for Thanksgiving. I did learn a little bit about that. But the netting is nice because it'll keep the deer away, but it still gets ventilation in there. But the deer like the stock just as much as sunflowers, I think. Okay, so that's on the north side of the house. On the south side of the house, we had some trees taken down and some grading done last February. And when we did it, I was like, what if I took the tree line like we did on the other side? And he was like, well, they're coming to seed. They're coming to seed at the yard. So what if you don't want? I was like, no, I don't want them to seed because I have to pull out all the grass that germinates. Well, I said, I'm going to run down. So I ran down. Thank goodness the Ace Hardware had the landscape fabric on sale. I was like, oh, thank God. And so I just rolled it all the way down, and then they came and seeded, and then I had this farmer friend. He lives like 45 minutes away from me, but he does tractor work. And I think he charges me $60 an hour, which I know it seems like a lot, but it's really not because they can come and in 2 hours, he spread 20 yards of this magic mix for me. And he shows up and he has 2 boys, one's in high school and one's in middle school. And he makes them come and makes them work and spread and do all the things. I mean, I don't know. God just sends me these amazing people sometimes, I think. And so when they left, I'm like, oh, it was kind of hot when they came the last time. I was like, y'all boys want popsicles? You want? I was like, here, go to Chick-fil-A when you're done. So anyway, this was a new section, but I made a big mistake when I made that section last year because I kept watching the sun. I'm like, yeah, I think that's going to get enough sun over there. Okay, so do you notice something about in this picture and maybe this picture, the difference between these pictures and that one? Something about the trees. Well, there's no leaves on the trees when I was watching the sun. At first, So I was watching, like, November, December, January. I was like, oh, I said, yeah, it's definitely going to get. I've been watching the sun out my bedroom window. Yeah. Well, those are the trees. I have two. Well, there's 3 big trees there that are really causing some shade issues. Well, those are the ones that are coming down next week. Anyway, well, one of them I think is rotten anyway. So, okay, so here we are in the springtime. Oh gosh, I had tons and tons of things to plant out. Super busy last spring. This is my daughter. Sometimes I can coerce her to helping me. She's really fun. And then there's the horse trailer. Looks pretty cute now. So, okay, so early flowers. Ranunculus is beautiful. Last year I had planted a couple viburnum shrubs, plants there, and I always try to find the ones that make the really small little snowbally clusters of flowers. It kind of looks like a hydrangea before hydrangeas are close to blooming. I also really love. I invested in some David Austin roses, and I love them. The only thing is they don't have a very long vase life. Oh, but they are gorgeous and they smell so good. If you go to the grocery store, lots of times, like, roses don't even smell anymore. Like, today's like, I know everybody buys flowers, but I find it the saddest day for flowers of the whole year, because the flowers that you guys are buying at the grocery store, look where they come from. Most of them come from Colombia, and most of them were harvested about 3 weeks ago. They're full of dyes, they're full of chemicals, preservatives. Most of them won't even bloom. They will not open once you bring them home. But 85% of the flower industry in the United States is all sourced from outside of the United States. So when you buy your flowers today, maybe don't buy flowers, buy chocolate. Or there might be a few girls that have high hoops that might have some local flowers. Or, you know what, if you love flowers, your wife or your sweetheart loves flowers, there's lots of local farmers that do flower subscriptions. So you can buy, it's called a CSA. Basically, you're kind of front loading, giving farmers a little bit of startup money. But then throughout the season, you get, they have weekly subscriptions for a few weeks, a month, or whatever. They have different options. Give a subscription, a CSA subscription, where later through the season they get flowers a couple of times, and beautiful local flowers.
Are those your arrangements?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, this one I did for my one friend. Her daughter was having a baby shower.
Is that carrots in the back?
Yeah, yeah. She was having like a bunny theme, like for a shower. Yeah. And oh well, these oops. Oh, I'm going. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. One more time. Okay. Yeah. So these are David Austin roses. So yeah, and then here are your. There's a peony. I have peonies. You can't really cut off them until they're like 3 years old. So plant them and just know you're not going to be really harvesting them for 3 years, because you want them to establish a lot of roots and a lot of eyes. The ranunculus is really beautiful in that one too. And then here's a really pretty little Iceland poppy that. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, for beginners,
Uh-huh.
like really
Yeah.
beginners, name 3 flowers that you feel like would give the motivation to keep growing.
Yeah. So the first year that I grew flowers, I would say zinnias. They're considered like poor man's flowers. I love them. The only thing is that they do get a lot of powdery mildew coming August or whatever. There's lots of different fungicide sprays that you can use, a lot of organic ones. Some people even say a solution of water and milk you spray on it will kind of kill that the spore of the powdery mildew. I would say zinnias, celosia. Oh, I love celosia. Cosmos. I mean, if you just had a bouquet of those 3, they're just so pretty. And snapdragons. I absolutely love snapdragons. Those 4. Very easy to grow, all of them. So, okay, here we are. So this past season, the flower stand's open again. Moving right along. Um, so here's the celosia that I was talking about. I think a whole bouquet of just celosia is beautiful. It's really a filler or secondary flower that you would use, but it's so beautiful. And then here's the Lysianthus that I was telling you about that I start in Christmas Day or day after Christmas. I baby. I have to keep them in their trays all winter, but they're really beautiful. Here's some cosmos. Cosmos. Here's a whole little section of zinnias. And zinnias have come a long way with the hybridizers. A lot of people, like if you watch Floret, oh gosh, okay, if you really love flowers, this has really totally got me so sucked into flowers, is go to Netflix. I think it's on Prime or Netflix. Watch Building Floret. Oh my gosh, I have all her books, all the things. She has a flower farm in Washington State, and it's a whole documentary. There's 2 seasons of it. You will fall in love with flowers if you have not already. It's called Building Floret, Floret. It's by the girl's name that started it. Her name is Erin Benzenkine. Her and her husband. Just go watch the series. It's magnificent. And that's our little dog. And so here we are at the Camp Honey coffee. I usually sell, I love like wrapped bouquets like this, like a market bouquet. But I tell you, every single time, everybody just wants like all the pretty jar arrangements because they're easy. You just give them to somebody, they're already in a vase, whatever. I worked last year with Knox County stopped doing glass recycling. So there is a couple that has started a glass recycling guess kind of business, whatever. But I check with them, and that any extra of all the jars that they let me have them. So that was great. I got to use mostly all recycled jars last year. Also down at the flower stand, I added a basket, and if they have bought flowers in jars, they return jars and I just reuse them. Also spaghetti jars, and I put on there like spaghetti jars, anything that's about a pint to a quart size. Perfect. I get so many people that bring me, I mean, people move and they like, oh, I have all these vases. And I'm like, oh, these are great. You know, some of them I'm like, I think you'll take you back to the farm. But for the most part, like, I like to reuse. Oh, sorry. That was it. Oh, and so at the flower stand last year, or Camp Honey, and at the flower stand, my daughter absolutely loves to bake. Like she's so into it. So we've kind of always added a little something extra with the flowers. So we did cookies. They were really fun. Yeah. So there we go. And then it's football time, kind of all the football flowers and football theme, and it's just been like just so fun. And yeah. Okay. So I decided on the other side, remember how I told you that I had that big long section right there without the sun? Well, I decided, honey, I think I need a little more space. So, so I marked off down here to have some rows. And then my tractor friend came again, and he spread the dirt. And then, when we had a few trees taken down the year before that, I had him chip all the branches, and I have this huge pile back in the back, and I keep it for mulching pathways and that kind of. I do have a big section of it that I haven't used, which probably it's been there about a year. It's probably pretty good to start composted, so I could probably start adding it as in the beds and things. But we hadn't had a little issue. We had a really bad rain, and like a lot of that nice soil and dirt ended up. If you see it down here, in front of my neighbor's house. I know. So my husband and I went down there in the streets shoveling it and bringing it back up. But we kind of fixed that drainage issue. We kind of figured out what was going on. But this like the flower beds on this side of the house. On the right side of the house, I have some raised vegetable beds, or actually I'm going to just do all herbs in there and I love adding herbs to bouquets because they just make them smell so good and they're so pretty, filler and fresh, and yeah. So we lived through the thing. And remember I told you my husband can build anything. I was like, I really would love to have like 2 arbors down. I mean, we're a flower farm. I want to have flowers down by the flower stand, right? So because right now the flowers are all kind of on the other side of the house in the back part. Well, so people visit the flower center, they don't even realize that we grow all our own flowers. So anyway, so we made some new beds down here, and my husband made me these beautiful arbors, and I planted last fall some climbing roses on them just because I think they're going to be just really beautiful. And have you guys seen all the cattle panels where they make like the tunnels? So they're just cattle panels, and you use the steel T-posts, and it takes two people. You have to walk together, and it makes the arch, and you zip tie, or you kind of wove them through and zip tied them on there. So right now I have some sweet peas. I haven't grown sweet peas before, so I planted some out. I have some on my front porch to plant out, but I'm going to try to do a whole thing of sweet peas. But once it gets really hot, come the middle of June, sweet peas will be done. But that will be perfect because I really I really want to make one of those pumpkin tunnels. so, so I've got some seeds for the little baby pumpkins, and also they say not to plant too many, but I want to plant some loofah. Have you ever seen? Yeah, so they look kind of like this big long cucumber, but yeah, you can cut them and they're like loofah sponge. Anyway, so that's where my plants are. I tell you, I come up with all these things, right? So, all right, so that's kind of how it's my story, where I'm at. So these are some of the things I wanted to touch on. And if you have questions, let me know. And I hope I don't run too long if you guys have to go. Soil health. Soil health, you're not going to believe this, but soil health not only is great for your plants, for the roots, for the health of your plants, it is your number one best way for pest management. That sounds crazy, but I can touch a little bit more on that with soil health in a minute, but if you have great soil, the pests are usually going after plants that are struggling. They attack those first. So if you have really great soil health, it takes several years to really, and you got to keep amending soil and keep working on your soil all the time. I can talk about pest management a little bit. I'll touch on virus and disease, seed saving, and I'm a teacher, so I think continuing education. Everybody needs to be a lifelong learner. Keep learning. You don't know it all. Okay, so soil health. If you ever buy fertilizer and it has like those 3 numbers on it, the first number is the nitrogen levels in the fertilizer. Second number, and the nitrogen it helps grow a healthy plant. Good foliage, starts growing a great plant for you. The second number is phosphorus. Phosphorus is a nutrient that it helps really have the plant grow really strong roots, and it also helps for flower and seed production. And then potassium, it does help with plant health and all that. It does help with resistance, but also it really helps the plants be able to uptake water. And if you can uptake water, you're going to have a lot longer, stronger stems in your plants. So those are your 3 big ones, but also don't discount. There's a lot of other trace minerals that are in our soils that also really help. I will say magnesium. Magnesium plays a really big part, even in our own health. I don't know if I'm allergic to seafood, so I don't eat a lot of foods that have a lot of magnesium. So I take magnesium supplement or magnesium creams. Magnesium is great for that, for all kinds of things. But magnesium, if you have some leaves, it's not virus, but they're kind of yellowing. They're just not looking great. Take a tablespoon of magnesium, like Epsom salts, put it in a gallon of water, and water your plants with it, and it just kind of helps. You probably have a magnesium deficiency, so it probably helps them.
Like any kind of plant, vegetable.
Yeah, a lot of people think that magnesium is great for tomatoes too, if you do tomatoes. I would say don't sprinkle the Epsom salts in your gardens. People say, "Oh, just cast them out." It needs to be broken down, diluted, and that's the way that the roots will be able to take up the nutrients. And if you the rain will come, but it will probably be in concentrations where there's hot spots, like strong Epsom salts here and there. So you want to dilute it and put it out. So soil health is a big thing. Okay, pest management. This is my nemesis right here. See that guy? He is a cucumber beetle, and he loves to eat. He loves to eat the blooms on my dahlias. So the cucumber beetle, spider mites, and broad mites are really my nemesis. The Japanese beetle and the thrips, of course. Aphids, yes. Aphids, I usually see them more spring and fall. When it's really hot, they're not so bad. I would like last year I had them. I couldn't believe how early in the spring. So right now I'm actually going to go ahead and order some green lacewing beneficial insects. Go ahead and have them out in my garden because they will eat like, I don't know, like 50 aphids a day. So I try to do beneficial insects as much as I can. Beneficial insects to me really work earlier in the season if you introduce them into the garden. They don't work once you already have a pest and you try to order them in June. It's just too hot. So start beneficial insects early. You can also try to introduce them again in the fall. And also beneficial nematodes. They're like these little microscopic, little worm-like little things that they come like in a little cylinder. You dilute them in water and you spray them into around in your soil. They'll go down into the soil and they basically, I don't know if it's a bacteria or somehow they kill all the grubs. I think what it is the grubs eat them, and then when they eat them, it makes this bacteria and that kills the grub, but also the grub decomposes and it spreads more of this bacteria that kills more and more of the grubs. So the grubs are actually turned into Japanese beetles and they will just absolutely go crazy over your roses. So yeah. Also the Japanese beetles, you can put milky spore. I buy it, you can buy it as a powder, but if you can buy it as a granular at Rural King, and I cast it out in my gardens and all around because it kind of goes down and it has that's a bacteria that will kill all the grubs and things in your soil too, the bad ones. So, and it's a organic like thing you can do. There are sprays that you can use. I try to stay as organic as I can. There have been a few times that I was just inundated with thrips last year that I had to use a harsher chemical. I don't like to, but I also have a big investment in my dahlias especially. So I really try to stay on top of it. I think that the cold weather that we've had, I think it's like if you have 62 hours under like 30 or 28 degrees or something, it's supposed to kill a lot of the thrips larvae and eggs. So hopefully with all these cold winter days we've had, hopefully our pressure won't be as bad this year. You might have questions about all these chemicals or they're
The beneficial
yeah.
insects and nematodes.
Yeah.
Where would you purchase them?
Okay. Good Guys, Nature's Good Guys on Amazon. There's Sound Organics. That's another place. Just Google. There's so many, not so many. There's a bunch though of companies online. You order and they come the next day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, Innovative Hydroponics in Maryville. They also keep in stock some too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so pest management. Okay, virus and fungal disease. Sometimes virus can be, you might think it's a plant is virus, but it might not. It might be a nutrient deficiency. So try making sure that you're feeding, have good soil. It will be really helpful for you. But if you've really realized that something is virus, pull it out of the ground and don't put it in your compost pile. Like burn it, put it in a big garbage bag, put it in the trash. You want it out of your garden because if a chewy bug that bites all the plants, if it bites a virus one and then it goes to a healthy plant, it just transferred the virus to the next plant. So be careful about that. So I would say and fungal disease. The biggest problem we have with fungal disease would be a powdery mildew. There is a copper fungicide that's organic. Captain Jack's makes that copper spray that works good. Some people use that milk solution. There's a few anything Captain Jack's I like. So, okay, any questions about disease? You'll know it. There's certain telltale signs in your plant, and you'll just be like, why is this plant doing so bad?
This could be a whole class by itself.
Yeah, all those could be really. Okay, so I will say, seed saving. I love seed saving. Here's some celosia celosia, let me tell you, if you plant it in one spot and you let it go to seed, just be prepared. It's going to come back the next year in that same spot. So either you love it and you just leave it and let it grow every year there, great. If you don't, you're going to have a lot of picking out of celosia plants the next year. And there's some zinnias on the right. For something to go to seed, it really has to bloom. Let it totally bloom and let the flower, you want the bees to pollinate it, let the flower totally pretty much dry on the plant, then cut it and bring it inside, and then you can harvest the seed out of it. Saving seed saves a lot of money. It really, if you're saving seed from plants that you've loved this year, you know that they do well here. They do okay in our heat. They thrive in our environment and our humidity. There's some plants that just don't, but if it's something that you love, save the seed, and for next year it saves you money. It does. There's a lot of big companies, and you never know what they're doing to their seed. So there's even like genetically altered seeds, and be careful about that kind of thing. So yeah, and plus who doesn't love to share seeds, right? Like I always have, I love to share seeds, some things from around my garden to somebody else's garden. So I brought you guys some seeds, and you guys can pass them around. In each pack is some zinnia seeds, and then I think there's zinnia in a celosia pack, and there's at the bottom there might be some that have a zinnia and a purple coneflower perennial seed. If you get the purple coneflower one, I would put the seeds in the freezer for about a week or two, kind of get cold, stratify them, and then plant them up in seed trays. And I did it the first year, and I had 50 beautiful coneflower plants that, I mean, they're beautiful every year. So have a pack of seeds. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few at the bottom, but the celosia and zinnia, the ones that are here, are in there too. So this is about talking about the importance of education. I'm I still love a good book to hold in my hand. I have so many flower books. I love it. That's why I asked for Valentine's Day. It was this one particular book I wanted. This is Nikki from Flourish Flower Farm, and that's my best friend from college. We've gone the past 2 years to one of her workshops. Invest in yourself. You really will learn so much. You make great relationships with people, and it's I think that everyone should continue. I think Susan and I went to the PIC-TN conference. We learned a lot there, so it was fun. Okay, so another thing that I would like to share with you is that I am a member of the Knoxville Dahlia Society. If you love dahlias, you don't know how to grow them yet, join the Knoxville Dahlia Society. The Knoxville Dahlia Society is affiliated with the American Dahlia Society. And so if you become a member of the Knoxville Dahlia Society, your dues also include the membership to the American Dahlia Society. And once you are a member, you can go to the member-only site on the American Dahlia Society page, and there are so many resources. Anything and everything you want to know is on that website. But we meet once a month, and each meeting is like, well, we're supposed to be doing with our dahlias now, how to wake up your tubers, how to take cuttings, when you go to plant, like how do you plant them, what do you plant with them. We talk about soil health, pest pressure. When it's time to dig and divide, we'll show you how to dig, how to divide the tubers, how to store the tubers, all the things. So it's an incredible group of people. We actually are meeting not this Saturday, next Saturday. No, 2 Saturdays, the 28th. We meet at the right now during the winter, we meet at the public library at Bearden Public Library. And if you're interested in it, go to Facebook and just search Knoxville Dahlia Society. There's lots of information there. And then once you become a member of the Knoxville Dahlia Society, you can be in the members only Facebook page, which kind of gives a little bit more detail of like what we're doing, that where our meetings are, what we're doing, like things that we don't want the whole public, they don't care about who's bringing what to the meeting, right? So, but that's where I really have found like made so many friends, and there's flower farmers in there. There's just backyard gardeners in there. There's those that haven't even planted a dahlia ever, but they're going to try this spring. So there's all levels. We have some really great guest speakers coming this August. Lee Cummings, Lee Cummings. Oh gosh, Lee from Golden Run Gardens is coming, and so she's going to bring some of her dahlia seedlings, and we're going to have a nice lunch with her, and she's going to come and speak with us and share about all her seedlings. So that's one thing I was going to tell you about. The other thing I really want to I'm on the committee. I guess I'm kind of like the lead person at this point. We have a committee of 8 of our members, and we're working on creating a legacy dahlia garden. So the legacy garden is to we're wanting to preserve all the dahlia varieties that were bred in the Southeast, because most of the dahlias, like we saw at Swan Island, that were so gorgeous, well, they don't do that good in our heat here. Some of them do, but not all of them. But the ones that were bred in the South, they were made to grow here well. So this guy right here, his name is Ray Phillips. I'm going to see him again on Friday. He's 80 years old, and he is just like, he is a gem. He is a hybridizer. He hybridizes the side hill varieties of dahlias. And so he's going to be our first person that we profile or make a profile about. And we've been collecting and growing out his varieties that we will be growing in the Legacy Garden in Knoxville. And so we really are trying to hunt down all the old Southern hybridizers and trying to find their stock, because a lot of their stock is, we've lost it. It maybe didn't store well, or like the man died, or no one's growing it anymore. There's some varieties that they're still, like Cherokee Beauty was hybridized in Jonesboro, Georgia, and it is so beautiful. And we have, like, I have it growing in my garden. I'm like, oh my gosh, this flower's been around since 1955. And so anyway, that's a big project that we're working on. We have a space that we're trying to secure with Knoxville City Parks and Rec, but the space, that property is actually, the city doesn't own it. It's on a land grant from TVA, so we're having to fill out this whole application process to TVA to be approved to be able to have that space. So we're hoping that we get through all the hoops that we have to go through, and we're hoping that this fall we will actually start establishing the physical garden and get going on that. So if you're interested in that project, we'd love help. So come to the Knoxville Dahlia Society meetings. Yeah, so I guess that's about it. So, oh, and these are some, I did go to the National Dahlia Show in Chicago this year. So these are some of my friends and some of the flowers that we've entered, and like basket designs, entryways that I've done. And so this guy right here, he's 90, oh gosh, he's 90 something years old. He came to Chicago for the national show, and he is from the UK. He is responsible for the Royal Dahlia, it's like a categorization whole thing where he has documented all the dahlias that have been grown and hybridized in the UK. So he's pretty special person. This is Eugene and Rosie from Rivers Dahlias. They live in Oregon. This is my friend Amanda. She lives in North Carolina, but she's actually switching to be a member of the Knoxville Dahlia Society with me. So dahlias really are my favorite. But as far as the future goes, I still want to continue the cut flowers. I love the cut flowers. But to remember at the beginning, I always told you that I actually have my master's in art education. Well, I was a ceramics major in college, and so I would really like to get back into throwing different beautiful vessels to put my flowers in and to sell with my flowers. So right now, my husband and I, we've been working with our friends, our architects, and working on some, we're in the second draft of a studio. So down there on that side yard where my husband's garage is, we're going to build another. He gets his building, so maybe I can get mine. So yeah, so hopefully you'll be seeing some raised in clay ceramics to go along with the beautiful flowers. So any questions? I know that's a lot, isn't it? I hope you learned something today, but yes. Yes, if you would like to contact me, I'm on, just search Raised in Clay on Instagram and Facebook, and you can send me messages through Facebook, Instagram. I don't know, I like the messaging on Instagram a little better. It's a little bit easier because I don't know, but yeah. Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Trish. That was a great presentation, and we so appreciate you sharing your journey and all of your information. That was really good.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any more questions before we kind of get on to the door prizes? No? Okay.
No, but maybe once we have a little studio space, I might try to do some workshops.
Another building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So for the presenting to us today, we have something to give to you.
Aww.
And this is a print that is one of our Master Gardener members. Her brother is an artist.
Oh,
And so he has made
wow.
this. Yeah.
Oh,
Jay Chandler.
oh wow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
We would have known we should have done a dahlia.
No,
Yeah.
this is so
But
pretty.
there you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
We
you
really
so
appreciate
much.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's wonderful. All right, so we've got door prizes to do. They're pretty. Okay, so ticket 122. All right. You're going to hand that to her? Okay. All right. Yeah, just sit them right there. Okay, ticket number. We stick together. Ticket number 112. Okay. There you go.
Tricia, do you think you'll do pottery classes? Do you get anything up and down?
Well, I know everyone keeps asking
Okay,
me. I was
one
like,
more ticket
like,
number.
I just want to get back into it for me for a while.
125.
So we'll just see how it goes.
125. Is my ticket right there? Is it 125? There's it's my ticket that's on the table. Yeah, never mind. That's okay. All right, ticket 111. Yours? Okay, great. All right, well, thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, we do have a meeting. I want to tell you about next month's Lunch and Learn. It is about gardening, so what? A veggie growing lunch and learn. So our extension agent, Jessica Wilkinson Smith, will be the one that will be presenting that. So it's March 14th from 12 to 1 again. So, all right, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.